Good morning. Having a look at the US markets, very mixed night overnight. We did see weakness coming into the technology sector, really dragged down by Facebook shares. But having a look at the Dow was up 113 points. The changes that could come into effect after the negotiations between Donald Trump and Juncker from the EU yesterday on the trade front, really helping to support a lot of those industrial stocks overnight. We saw Caterpillar going for a good run and the likes of many of the transport stocks also having a great session. But elsewhere, of course, the technology sector held back. Facebook shares down over 21% at one stage, finishing down by 18.9% overnight. Unfortunately, their revenue, even though it increased, was a little bit below market expectations. They have seen a lot of right sizing coming through in their business. They are removing a layer of middle management to try and look at costs. We know that they've eliminated many fake accounts over the last quarter, and also the Cambridge Analytica scandal taking its toll on the company. We've also seen some changes in the way that you can market in Europe. Their GDPR really impacting the results and growth and revenue in the European region for Facebook, and unfortunately their share price getting hit today, listing the biggest one-day slide per stock in US history. Apart from that, Amazon seeing their share price down around 3% ahead of their result that came out after the bell. Just looking at the headline numbers, they have beat on earnings and the share price is higher, and also after the bell some good numbers coming through from Starbucks. Now, we had around 21 key companies coming out with results in the last 24 hours, so it's hard to go through the whole lot of them. The standouts, I would say, AMD beating market expectations with their earnings, and future guidance looks very strong for the computer chip maker. But we did see that there was a bit of a pullback coming through on the credit card operators, with MasterCard missing the mark on their headline numbers, even though they had more people using their service. And Visa, some of their costs have increased over the half, even though they did see some good lift coming through in their payment volumes, up around 11%. PayPal also coming through. Their revenue was a little bit below market expectations. Their net income coming in at $526 million. And if we have a look at ConocoPhillips, unfortunately they did miss the mark on their earnings per share, and the share price coming under a bit of pressure, but they are expecting to see their full year production numbers increasing. If we have a look at other news, well, in the commodity markets we did see the gold price falling yet again, down another $9 an ounce to $1,232 an ounce. On the flip side though, the oil price increasing. There was an attack on one of the oil areas along the Red Sea, and this was from Yemeni rebels, and that's added to concerns about supply in the region. So we've seen that oil price up to around 69, 62 US a barrel, helping lift some of those larger oil producers in the area. Looking at the Aussie market, well, at the moment we're set for a 21-point gain at the start of trade. Not too much to watch out for in our market today, but in the next 24 hours we'll have the numbers being released of the latest GDP growth numbers in the US. Now, there's varied estimates coming through. Some people saying 3.5% growth, others saying even a 5 could come as a headline number. 5% growth in the quarter in the US. So we'll wait on those numbers to see how the market reacts, but we are expecting to see a boost coming through from the tax changes in the US, and also less reform coming through for the banking sector. And lastly, look at the Aussie dollar. It's lower in the morning session at 73.76 US cents.